Hello everyone, this is dslyecxi, and we have a milestone. Yay! I just hit 50,000 subscribers, and it seems like a good time to take a bit to talk about the past, the present, and the future of my channel. In late 2012, as DayZ was increasing the awareness of Arma 2, I discovered something that I hadn't really anticipated, namely that the people outside of ShackTac and even outside of Arma, or the quote realism side of Arma, would find footage of our gaming to be compelling viewing. When you combine this with some new recording techniques that would streamline the process for me, I found myself more and more recording gameplay and putting the particularly interesting bits onto my channel. This seemed to be well received, and in August of 2012 I made a cutesy little video in celebration of hitting what I perceived as the first significant milestone, which was 10,000 subscribers. Since then, it's hard to even keep track of what's happened, but we'll try. A few highlights would be my Art of Flight series, my new site launching at the end of August, a bunch of well-received narrated videos, my video TTPs, and of course all manner of videos of my experiences in our ShackTac sessions. The Arma 2 headless client also happened and changed our cooperative missions pretty much forever. And more recently, the Arma 3 Alpha is launched and given us an idea of where we're going headed forward. Since August, I've created roughly 160 public videos. And while the process is very time consuming and quite a bit of work, the reception, the interest, and community interaction that's happened around them have made that more than worthwhile. Being able to capture the scope, the intensity, and the unique situations that happen in our sessions and Arma in general has been quite the experience. Once upon a time, I relied on screenshots and text to convey a story, and while of course I still see that as a useful platform, I find it much more interesting to be able to vividly show my perspective of things as they happened through videos. It's one thing to write about it, it's something else to actually see it transpire. There's a lot of nuance that you can miss through your memory of an event versus actually sitting there and watching what transpired. There have been many times where I've seen something in a video that I had never noticed in the actual playing of it. And I find that very fascinating from my perspective. I love situational awareness. I love seeing what I didn't see. I love being able to dig into a situation and find out why this happened the way it did. Or find out those little misperceptions that cause something to turn out a way that you could have never expected. You never saw it coming. And sharing that with an audience, I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm completely sincere when I say this. Sharing that with an audience is it's awesome. It's so much fun. I've loved doing this. You know, I wrote articles in the past on my site, way back when, before ShackTac. You know, I'd write passionately about Flashpoint, and at the time the Red Orchestra mod, and you know, all manner of other games, Jagged Alliance, Brigade E5, Infiltration. You know, there's a rich history of me doing this in the past, but while I did do some video back then, a lot of it's lost to, well, not lost, but a lot of it's less accessible because it was in Google Video, which was, you know, hitching to a losing horse. And then after that we had Stage 6, which was amazing, and of course, you know, after investing a great deal of time into that too went down. So now we're on YouTube. I don't really have a good means by which to bring back that old content, but that's kind of beside the point. What I'm trying to say is that I've made videos in the past, I enjoyed it. I never really had videos where you could hear me speaking. In fact, late 2012, those were the first videos of me speaking. Those were the first videos where you could hear me commanding. Or just bullshitting, talking, whatever. And when you're as passionate about a series, and you've been playing it for so long, to be able to show what you're seeing and what is driving that passion, and what's making you so excited about it, to be able to share that with an audience of any number is exciting. But to see that audience grow greater and greater as time goes on, and to see just the amazing work that both our community in general, just playing, and our content creators like our mission makers and such, to show a dynamic representation of these amazing canvases that we work on or play on. I don't know. I love it. I really do. I enjoy it so much. And I'm kind of rambling now, so we'll move on. I guess one other thing you could say there is that it's one facet of Arma. And we talk about that a lot in general, is there's so many different ways you can play it. And none of them are right or wrong, they're all just different things. You know, you have people playing Wasteland. I personally don't find it interesting. It's not for me, but plenty of people do. So, you know, more power to them. I want to be something different. I want my experience to be something different. And that's why I've spent so much time working on ShackTac as a community and Arma as a series. Now, with all of that being said, I guess the way to sum it up is that I'm very happy with how things have evolved since my channel started picking up steam last year. Like I said, you know, there's many different ways you can experience Arma, and to match that, there are many channels out there that offer Arma footage. I like to think that mine shows that facet of the game that's unique enough to be compelling without really having to do anything other than basic editing for pacing and the occasional introduction to clarify a more complex situation. I don't plan to do stuff like, you know, Wasteland episode 378. You know, it's just not my thing. You're not going to see me doing city life or Pakistani life or whatever the flavor of life there is at the moment, you know? It's everywhere. It's being parroted by dozens, if not hundreds of people. And if you want that, you have places to go for it. More power to you if that's your thing. It's not my thing. I think it would be insincere, to say the least, for me to produce content like that. And it just doesn't really interest me. For my content, I want it to be, if I create a video of a session, I want you to know it's worth watching. You know, it doesn't matter how long it's going to be. If it's a 5-minute video, there's something interesting. There's something in those 5 minutes that's worth seeing. If it's an hour long, there's an hour worth of content that I wanted you to see that I think was worthwhile. And that's not an uncommon thing for us. If I create an instructional or an informative video, I want everyone to know that you can trust it's been well thought out and it's worth a view, and that I take it very seriously. I don't want to abuse my position in any respect in a, you know, like a sellout cash-in kind of fashion. I'll reiterate this for as long as I'm doing this. I take it very seriously. I take it very seriously with ShackTac. I believe that that's a big reason for why it's as successful as it is. And I hope and I believe that the reason my channel currently is as successful as it is because I'm following those same kinds of mentalities. That same ethos, those same standards for quality. So, like I'm saying, I have my own personal standard quality that guides me, and I refuse to pander or lower those standards for popularity's sake, for better or worse. It's how I'm comfortable with it. And I think that's one of the allures of my channel, at least from my perspective, as far as I can tell. It's a representation of a labor of love. ShackTac and Arma, viewed from the lens of a person who founded ShackTac in the first place. You know, I've been playing this series actively since Flashpoint back in 2001. I've been running ShackTac since 2006, and I've continually tried to contribute to the experience in whatever fashion I could, both within ShackTac and within the Arma community as a whole. Be that via consulting, creating free content like my tactical guides or the mods I've found time for, or just generally raising awareness of the series and trying to set a good example, trying to lead by example, and finding that more and more important as time goes on, and particularly as my channel and my profile rises. You know, the more, it's cheesy. It's really cheesy, and I hate myself for saying this, but it's with great power comes great responsibility, you know? It's not really great power, it's, you're an Arma celebrity, woo, you know? But it's the same kind of thing. A little less significant, but the same general ballpark. So, personally, I hope I am accomplishing that. I hope I am setting a good example. Hopefully more so now than in the past. You know, there's always room for improvement. The mantra of ShackTac, the serious fun, you know, it's something I hold near and dear. And I believe that our session videos show this to be a goal worthy of the significant effort required to attain and sustain it. So, once again, I'm happy with how things are right now. The comments, the community that's developed around this channel, and Arma in general, I mean, we're all part of the same community, right? This isn't like some elitist subset of it or any of that nonsense. The comments on my videos are certainly above the norm of YouTube, and I appreciate everyone who takes the time to be polite, respectful, and help to answer questions about the games, the situations portrayed, and just generally cultivate a positive atmosphere for discussion. The anonymity of the internet makes it extremely easy to be negative and non-productive and not really face repercussions for being an asshat or just a non-contributor. Those who buck that trend, who take it upon themselves to be a positive person, a contributor, and like a positive influence on things, they're the ones who are, and I'm not kidding at all, they're the ones who are materially contributing to a better tomorrow, no matter how small a microcosm of the internet this may be. If you take that kind of positive behavior and you spread it around everywhere, you're going to have an impact. You're going to inspire. You're going to set the example. And things will improve because of that. I sincerely believe in that. Maybe it's a little bit too real talk, but, it's something that's on my mind quite a bit. Along those lines, there's many channels that, as they grow, they do a great deal to try to develop a personality cult around them. And they rather insincerely, at least in my opinion, as an outsider looking in, they go to lengths to try to make everyone feel included and special, like they focus something around them. It's like, be a part of the bro army. And I find that insincere. I don't want to play that game. If you like what I do, you like what you see of ShackTac, you like my content, Killer's content, Beagle, Taconic. Now I've done the horrible thing, started naming people, so people are going to be upset. But what I'm trying to get at is, if you like our content, then just support it, watch it, enjoy it. There's really nothing more aside from that you have to do. If you like my content in particular, I want it to be for the reasons that I'm comfortable with. I want it to be because you see the commitment to quality, you can recognize the high standards, that I'm not compromising or pandering. And it's, like I said earlier, it's the same sort of things that have allowed ShackTac to be as successful as it's become. There's a great deal that can be said on so many topics, and maybe one of these days I'll start doing more, I hate to even say it, vloggy stuff. Ugh. Maybe someday, if there's interest. Maybe I'll do a video Q&A in the future. We'll see. But for now, let's close it up here. If you haven't already read Kilroy's post on Adblock, I'd suggest taking a look at it. I've got it linked here and in the video description. I don't think this is a big request. I think he lays it out pretty plainly. Everyone can understand. If you like the sorts of content we put out, you want to material support it and see more in the future, that's the way to do so right there. It's easy. I've included a link to a survey. The first time I did a survey at 10,000 subscribers, it took me a very, very long time to read through the results. There was a lot of quality stuff there. If you're interested in filling it out, please do so. If you have something like really important to say that you don't want to miss, I'd suggest doing an email. That's not fail-proof. I get a lot of email. But I anticipate it being a long, long time before I'm able to sit through and read through all of these results in detail. I appreciate them. I certainly appreciate them. I found the last one very interesting, which is why I'm doing it again. But I am not yet someone who reads at like 40,000 words a minute, so it will take some time to go through them. But thanks if you do. So, for everyone who's supported this channel so far, thank you. Sincerely, thank you. To those of ShackTac who's made this possible, it continues to be an honor. Let's see where we go from here. The future, as always, is what we make of it, and it can be as bright as we're willing to craft it. As I was saying earlier, if I could leave you with one thought, one request, and one thing to consider moving forward, it's simply the notion that everything counts. What you do online, the interactions you have with others, they're as real as anything else, and if you want to see a brighter tomorrow, you have to believe that it's a collective effort, and the first step of that is being what you want to see. It's not always easy, but the payoff, for all of us, I strongly believe, is worth that commitment. So this is dslyecxi. It's been a great ride to these 50,000 subscribers. I'd like to see more. I find this very interesting, as I said earlier. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your words of praise. Thank you for your honest critiques. Thank you for, I don't know, spreading the Arma gospel, I guess? Is that offensive? Anyway, until next time, take care.